Welcome, everyone, to It Tastes Different Gaming Appetizers. And tonight we're going to talk about some fans are disappointed with Sony. And why? Well, if you like Last of Us, you might be a little disappointed to know that Sony has officially canceled The Last of Us 3. I hadn't heard about this, but I came across an article that basically said Naughty Dog and Sony have basically said, we're not doing Last of Us Part 3 anymore. They had canceled it to basically focus on a new IP. So this article states, fans of The Last of Us are divided over the latest news about a canceled game. It's been 5 years since The Last of Us Part 2, sequel to The Last of Us. You played the first one and the second one. And with no official word on The Last of Us 3, fans were wondering what was next for the series. At one point, that was supposed to be the multiplayer game. I think we all remember the multiplayer game, and then that got canceled back in 2023. And then to basically now, a former PlayStation executive recently said the game was not canceled due to a lack of quality or an out-of-control budget, like some rumors have suggested. In fact, the game was great compared to internal testing, which means they got pretty far in the development cycle on it. Rather, the game was canceled because Naughty Dog was unable to work on it and create the new IP at the same time. And we all probably know that new IP because we saw trailers for it not too long ago. Intergalactic, the Heretic Prophet. And if you don't remember that one, that was the one that looked like a 80s space game, like 80s Cowboy Bebop style game. We got just like a teaser trailer, So, I'm super excited for that game because one thing I know about Sony-owned studios, they make amazing single-player games. And, I don't know how I fit into that because I'll be honest with you, Last of Us 2 was really disappointing. To me, anyway. I didn't feel like the story was what it should have been. And I don't know. The gameplay was okay. It just felt like it was the same thing from one. But the story, in my opinion, was just annoying. And then, I don't know. It wasn't my cup of tea. And the reason is just the whole storyline. If you haven't watched it, if you haven't played it yet, then you have no reason to be watching any of these videos. But, when they killed Joel off, I was like, are you kidding me? And then the whole story of Abby killing Joel was just stupid. And I don't know. It was a nice way for them to try to tie in the first one to the next one and the story of revenge. But I'll be honest, I didn't enjoy the second half of playing as Abby. I'm like, I want to play as Ellie because that's the whole thing is, I want that storyline, that piece of the story. If they wanted to make a game in the same world as that, go to another country, go to Japan. We'll make the zombies, the clickers in Japan, or whatever, or over in Europe or something, but whatever. That's been talked till I'm blue in the face. I didn't much care for the Last of Us Part 2 as much as a lot of other people did, and to each their own, right? But it was made them enough money that they were talking about doing a part 3. So I'll be honest with you. I'm okay. I'm on the side of being okay that there's no Last of Us Part 3 and that we're focusing on Intergalactic, the Heretic Prophet, because I think that I like new games. So don't get me wrong. I don't mind a continuation of a story. You guys have heard me talk about Mass Effect till I'm blue in the face. And some people are probably sick and tired of Mass Effect, especially after Andromeda, right? So, like I said, Naughty Dog just needs to stick to what they're good at, and they're good at single-player, story-driven games. And I think that they are going to make, and I hope that they are going to make an awesome space sim, their space sci-fi game. This Intergalactic Heretic Prophet is right up my alley, right? So I don't know where everybody sits on the line, but we're going to kind of go around and chat with everybody and see how they think, what they think about this, and are they on the side of disappointed because there's no more Last of Us and Naughty Dog's focusing on a new IP, or are they on the side that I'm at? It's a new space IP by Naughty Dog. And Nick, are you sad? Does it make you cry that there's not going to be a Last of Us Part 3? Are you not going to see the continuation of Abby and her new friend?
No, I'm good with it. We talked about it a little bit before we recorded, and I've always thought it would be cool to see, kind of like what you said, Last of Us, but in a different different group of people in a different region of the world, right? Because that one takes place in Texas. That's where they are. So, and in that region of the southern United States. And so I'd like to see them maybe move to a different part of the US or maybe to a different country completely, right? And just tell a different story about a different group of people somewhere else, right? That would be cool, right? Because I think the world is really interesting and the whole like the disease with the fungal stuff and everything. So it's happening everywhere, right? The entire world. So it'd be cool to see how the rest of the world is dealing with this and the struggles and tribulations and stuff like that. I think we pretty much concluded. I mean, yeah, you could continue on. You know, if you haven't played Last of Us Part 2 because you're waiting for the remastered version coming to PC in April, then sorry, plug your ears, earmuffs. But the last of it, at the end, she could go find Dina, I guess, and the baby, if you wanted to do that whole thing. And then whatever happened to Abby and her little friend from the boat, the kid that she takes onto the boat at the end of it. So you could continue that, but I don't think that would be, I don't know. I don't find that as interesting. I think it would be better off for them to move on to different characters, right? And just different, a whole different setting. So I'm actually more glad that Naughty Dog is moving off to something else. I like to see new IPs, so I'm glad. I mean, they could always revisit, Last of Us later on. They could always revisit Uncharted later on if they want to do that, right? And some of their old IPs and stuff. But I like to see a company decide, hey, you know what? Let's work on something new, right? Let's take a break from Last of Us. We don't need to keep pumping these out because we pump out a Last of Us and then we pump out the remaster and then we pump out the remaster of the remaster, a year after the remaster came out. So, and like I said, the remaster of Last of Us 2 remastered is coming out in April on PC. So we got that master to look forward to of the remastering of Last of Us 2 remastered. So, I think they've done enough of that, and it's great to see Naughty Dog just move on to something else. I hope this game is good. The sci-fi one looks fine. Everything from the CG trailer looks good. Naughty Dog usually does a pretty good job with these types of games and stories and stuff. So, I'm looking forward to it. So yeah, I'd rather, for me personally, I'd rather see them move on to something different. That's really where I'm at. So I think Last of Us 1 was great. Last of Us 2, I have the same problem as you do. I think it was a little bit more on the lacking side, story wise and character development on some characters and stuff like that. So it just didn't click with me as much as the first one. Like that first one, I think is a 10 out of 10, like one of the best games ever made. Right. The second one's doesn't live up to what the first one is, right? And I still believe the first one's like one of the best games ever. So that's my thought process on that. So I'm glad that Naughty Dog's moving off to other things. I'd like to see them because I think they do a really good job. So I like to see them venture off into other IPs. Jane, what do you think?
I think you're full of shit, man. Me and Pat have both seen your Abby throw pillows.
It's an Abby body pillow, not there.
No,
it's one of those hard pillows.
If this game would have been announced and, a trailer had been shown, I probably would be a little bothered by it because the series, the first game, perfect game, perfect. I mean, story beats the story alone, the character developments, perfect. Last of Us 2, the first half of the game nailed everything the original did, the first half. And then, the last half.
Just real quick, Shane.
Go ahead.
The first one was so good that Shane beat it and then had me borrow his PlayStation 3 and the copy of it for me to play it because I didn't have a PlayStation 3 at the time.
Yeah.
So I could play it and beat it, and which I did with within a few days or a week. Yeah. I had that game beaten and then his PlayStation back to him and everything. That's how good it was. It was like, here, you need to take my PlayStation in this game and play it. And I'm like, okay.
Yes. I completely forgot about that. That's right. but it was that freaking good. I mean, it's one of those games that you still talk about. That's why they keep dropping remasters. It's because it's that amazing of a game. Now let's take a step forward to 2, which takes a step back at the second half. The first half of that game, I think it hit all the right story beats. I think it did everything the original did. And then they made the second half. And I believe, Pat, you put it probably the most elegant, that the first half of the game, you hate Abby with a passion. You want to pull her arms off and beat her to death with him. But the second half of the game, they try to instill some sort of understanding and compassion for her. And pardon my language, I'm going to use an F-bomb here, but fuck her. Because that's not what the game is about. The game is about Ellie and Joel. Now, I understood why she killed Joel. Fully understand that. It makes perfect sense. Her father was killed by Joel. Joel gotta go. Now, but I didn't want that. I didn't care about that. And they did nothing but make me hate Abby even more through the second half of the game. It didn't build any compassion for her whatsoever. And they tried to introduce the boy for her to basically take care of and watch, to instill even more passion. I think they did that because they realized they had a shitty character build going for her, and they tried to make her a little more empathetic with this kid. And granted, this is truly a personal opinion. It's there's some people that love that game as much as the original, and that's fine. But in my opinion, no. But if they had announced The Last of Us 3 and they'd have showed me a trailer and gave me a release date, and then they'd have came out with, we put a pin in it. We decided not to. Then I would be bothered. The fact that I had no idea, I knew they canceled a Last of Us multiplayer thing. Wasn't bothered by that either. It could have been cool, but I didn't really care. But as far as this goes, I'm not bothered by it. I think if they're smart, they'll let it go a while longer before they try to make a 3. I think if they're real smart too, they'll definitely give us a good, far as in the game world, a good 10-year leap. Because I would like to see how the world's evolved even more over the next 10 years, how the clickers and bloaters and all them evolved over more in the 10 years.
That would be a good idea too. Like if you wanted to keep it the same people, have it be several years in the future so that things have changed, right? And not just like right after 2.
Exactly.
Because then it'll be too familiar at that point, right? Yeah. Everything would be the same.
Yeah. And I think with HBO doing the television series, which I think me and Pat are both agreement did a phenomenal job with the first season. I went into it completely 100%. This is going to suck. And guess what? Completely blew my mind. I think they nailed it. And I was very excited for season 2. One day Nick will grow up and get the subscription service, or just take my password, don't tell HBO, and watch the first season, because I think he'll nut butter on that thing. He'll really enjoy it. So I think they could continue the series through the show for right now. And I think the smartest thing for them to do was to walk away from part 3 at this time. I really do. I just don't think it's been long enough, especially for a story-driven game like that. Take a good long step back, a good breath, do some other things to build the ideals for that game. Because I imagine with their new one, they're going to have ideals that they probably took from, Last of Us 3 and put it in here, as far as maybe some characters or some gameplay beats, things like that. So I'm excited to see what Naughty Dog is going to do with this new one. I'm excited to see really what they're going to do with The Last of Us, because they're going to make a 3. They're going to. That's inevitable. Sony is not going to let that go too long, because they got to have that Last of Us money. That'll probably be released on a PS6.
As the remaster.
And re-released on the PS6 plus one. So I'm okay with it. It makes me happy that they are waiting on it. And like I said, if I'd have known about it and they gave me some trailers and dates, I'd be bummed. I wouldn't have as much hope for it as I did the last two, especially the original. The original, I didn't even think I would really get into, and I was completely goddamn wrong. I mean, that's take your cords and your controller over to your buddy's house, play this. That's how good it was. So take your time, make 3. Do it at the PS6. Life cycle at some point. I'm fine with that. I'm okay with that. So, but hopefully this new game they're working on will be something we can look forward to as a sequel down on PS7 or later on PS6. So
yeah, I mean, this game's supposedly been in development for 5 years already, so since 2020. Yeah. So I mean, yeah, and I agree with you there. The whole point, the reason I hated part 2 is because I was forced to play a character that the game grooms you to hate.
Yes.
And I didn't want to see the good side in her. I just wanted to run her into a pile of clickers every time and watch her get shredded every time. I'm like, oh, she died. Oh, I got to start over. Oh, she died again. Oh, dang it.
Yeah. I did not want to spend, 15 hours watching her swing her hammer around.
Right.
Well, every time in that game when there was a long drop down and I knew I was going to die, I would just save it and then I'd jump off with Abby.
Yeah, you're like, you guys grew me to hate Abby in the first half of the game, and then you make me play her to try to get some semblance of feelings for her. And my feeling for her is just like, I hate that you're forcing me to play the game. Half the game is her. And yeah, and I did the same thing. I'm like, oh, she died. Oh, and then they tried to make you get more feels for her with the whole Lev story with her and Lev, and you're just
Lev, yes.
You're like, I don't care.
No.
And I'll be honest, I didn't play Last of Us, the part 1, for a long time. And I think I got a PS4 with
you got the first remaster, didn't you?
Yeah, I got the first remaster because it came with the PS4. You guys were like, you got to play this. You got to play this. I'm like, whatever. I'm not that interested in this. I just get in the PS4. I can't remember what I was getting it for. But and I'm like, okay.
You got PS4 for Horizon.
I think I'm pretty sure that's what I got it for. Yeah. Horizon was the console and but it came with the digital version or the free copy of Last of Us Remaster. And I was like, okay, I'll give it a shot after I'm done with Horizon. And I loved it. I played it nonstop until I beat it. I'm like, this is really good. So
I've beaten it like 3 times. I played it the original on PS3. Then I got the remaster for PS4. And I let Lori play it. And Lori just, oh my God. And then Jasmine played it. And when Last of Us Part 2 came out, Jasmine wouldn't finish it after Joel. She literally came downstairs crying. And it's that cry that is sadness and fucking pure anger all at the same time. That cry, where the snot bubble comes out, comes back in, that one. So she refused to finish it. The snot bubble
comes out angry.
She refused to finish it when she was forced to play as Abby.
Plus, the ending for that game sucked too.
Yeah, the ending was just like it was like a whole. It was much ado about nothing.
Exactly.
Right? They fight, and then they both give up, and then they just make it sadder when Abby goes home and the baby's gone. Everybody's gone.
When Ellie goes
home.
Yeah.
Sorry, when Ellie went home. Yeah, and the baby's gone. Everybody's gone. He's gone, and the baby's gone. You're just like, screw this game. I hate this game. That's how I felt the end of it. I'm like, I get to the end of it. I'm just like, an empty house. Damn it, I hate this game.
Yeah,
I took all this time as Ellie going after Abby for what? We didn't do anything. When we got to the end, we fought each other and I left.
Yeah, literally a cliffhanger is what they did to you because there was no retribution. There was no justice. There was on either fucking side. I'd have been fine with Abby killing fucking Ellie just to have some sort of fucking ending. Pardon my language. I'm getting mad about it. Yeah. But no, they didn't do shit. They fought. Ellie lost a goddamn finger or two. I can't remember how many it was. And then, and then Abby and Lev get in a boat and they go fuck off to Gilligan's Island and fucking Ellie goes back to the farm and she's all there by herself, flicking her bean into dust. And that was it. That was the end of the goddamn game. It pissed me off so bad. And how is a third one going to work? Because you couldn't bring, I just don't see how you could bring Abby and Lev back, because I think people would protest that too hard.
I mean, you would go one of two ways, right? You would go with Abby and Lev landed somewhere else on another shore, or Ellie searching for Dina and the baby.
It would probably be two. It would be Abby and Lev would land on the shore, and the military's after them.
Yep.
And then the other one would be Ellie looking for Dina and the baby. Yep. And that would be that.
Yeah. Which I would not want to play it, because the only way to get you people to play it is you have to do the Abby and Lev story first, so everybody has something to look forward to. Abby reuniting with Dina, hopefully, and not finding Dina and the baby dead.
If they started it off with Abby getting shot in the face hole, I would be more inclined to play the third.
By Lev.
By Lev. Yeah, exactly.
And you're still a kid, so it's a stealth game now.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
You can't fight. You got to stealth through the entire thing.
Yeah.
Oh God. Well, I'll never get to the Ellie part then.
Nope. She'd just be stuck on that fucking phone.
See, that's why I don't think they could do that. I don't think they could do that well. Like, I mean, maybe, but it would be really difficult. And so that's why I would love to see, because I think that universe is really cool and the whole atmosphere and everything. So I like to see a different group of people. Like, talk about somebody else in a different part of the world that's dealing with the whole thing,
or even just deal with the fact that they never dealt with the fact that Ellie was immune. They never dealt with it. At the end of one, he saved her life. Spoiler alert. At the end of one.
Well, you just spoiled it right there by saying Ellie's immune. You spoiled it.
Yeah. Sorry. Send all your hate mail to darkesk@hotmail.com. I don't know. But it's so stupid that they never addressed it again. Joel saved her, and I love the ending, because it was fuck all of humanity for this little girl. And God dang, I get mad. But in the second one, it's never really brought up in a meaningful beat of the story. It's just, all right, well, screw everybody. I'm not going to try again. I think if they do a third one, it's 10 years down the road. Abby or Ellie's, finds Deanna and the baby, and, the military captures her, and they kill Ellie. They find a cure for her, and then they play it off after that, with some doctor running around just giving everybody injections. It's RFK Jr. running around giving everybody
the measles.
I think the measles to cure the.
I think would be a cool
cordyceps.
I think would be a cool spin on it, or twist on it, is you play as Ellie, right, looking for Dina and the baby, but you come to find out that Ellie wasn't immune. That she is infected. It's just slower in some people. And she's starting to slowly change as you're progressing through. And that,
So she impregnated Dina with a cordyceps baby.
Yeah.
And a turkey baster.
But that would be like a really, M. Night Shyamalan twist or something on it.
Ooh, what a twist.
This is going off the rails quick. All right,
let's end it.
So let us know what you think. Are you upset that there's no Last of Us 3, or are you okay with it because of the intergalactic Heretic Prophet game that Naughty Dog's working on? Where are you on the fence? Are you okay with it because of that, or are you still pissed off even though you're looking forward to the Heretic Prophet? Where are you sit on that fence? I'm okay with it. Like I said, we're okay with it because we didn't enjoy the second one as much as we enjoyed the first one. Hard thing to do a lot of times, though. A second game is a hard to hit the mark like the first one does. A sequel almost never hits that same mark. You never get that feeling back, right? It's like a drug. First time you take it, amazing. You chasing that drug all the time and never get that same feeling. So that's the story of life. But let us know where you sit on that fence. Are you upset? You happy? You don't care? Let us know what you think down in the comments. And if you've not subscribed, why not? You've reached the end of this episode. You've stuck with us through all the F-bombs and the talk about Abby getting shot by Lev and Abby impregnating Dina, somehow, and then not being immune, So let us know what you think down in the comments, the ramblings of old men, We don't talk about the weather. We talk about video games. So let us know what you think down in the comments. And as always, we hope you enjoyed this episode and hope to catch you in the next one.
See ya.
Ella's got long COVID.